Are you worried about what the new school year is going to bring for you and who you've become over the summer? Are you worried that summer you is going to disappear and teacher you is going to take over now that the new school year is starting? Hi, I'm Amber Harper. I am a teacher burnout coach and full-time kindergarten teacher, and I'm here to help you to live your happiest and most fulfilled life inside of the classroom and outside of the classroom. In this episode, I'm going to share with you 3 ways that you can set manageable goals so you don't lose yourself inside of the teaching profession this year, like you may have in years previous. Your choice to begin and continue working in education should not be taken lightly. But how do you manage it all while keeping that fire burning bright so you can show up in your classroom and in life as your best self every day? That's what this show is all about. Welcome to the Burned In Teacher podcast. I'm Amber Harper, classroom teacher, author of Hacking Teacher Burnout, and with more and more teachers quitting the profession or accepting #teacher misery as their forever reality, I step in as your teacher burnout coach to help you take your next best steps to creating a happier and more fulfilled career and life. Now, let's take one more step forward and out of burnout together so we can burn on, shall we? Let's go. And before we dive in, I just want to let you know, this is the first time that I have ever recorded a YouTube video as part of the Burned In Teacher podcast. So I have been running the Burned In Teacher podcast as an audio podcast on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you listen since 2018. So if you are joining us here on YouTube for the first time, welcome. I'm new here too. Although for years, our audio podcasts have been uploading automatically, this is the first video podcast that I am going to be doing for all of you. Sometimes I'll be joining you here from my home office. Other times I'll be joining you from my classroom. So I'm really excited as the school year starts to try new things with you. And that's what this podcast is all about, doing new things. So with all of that out of the way, let's dive into 3 ways that you can set manageable goals for yourself so that you don't lose yourself inside of your classroom this year. And wait all the way to the end, because I'm going to give you 4 quick steps to help you to dream even bigger than these small goals that we're going to talk about here today. Normally, when we think about goals, we think about big, huge, big, scary, hairy, audacious goals that we have for ourselves, right? But when I'm talking about goals today, when this new school year is kicking off, and we've had all of this time this summer to do whatever we want, to eat whenever we want, to go wherever we want, when we want, it can seem overwhelming to be now kind of strapped to those constraints that we have as far as time goes in our classroom, both before, during, and after our contract hours. And that's where we can begin to feel like we're on this hamster wheel of day in and day out and sort of losing ourselves and going through the motions and not really feeling anything anymore. So we're not going to start with things that you want to do as goals. So step 1 to set manageable goals for yourself as you move into this new school year is to think about how you want to feel. You know, a lot of times I've been teaching now for 15 years. Whenever I start a new school year, I just start thinking about doing. And I have this long list of to-dos that have to be completed by a certain time or a certain date or with certain students in certain frames of the day. And along those lines, I started to lose sight of why I got into teaching in the first place. And I start to forget that I am many things and love to do many things outside of my career in education. So my first step for you is to think about how you want to feel. Think about this summer. What did you feel? Did you feel relaxed? Did you feel calm? Did you feel happy? Did you feel rested? Did you feel energized? Those feelings don't have to go away just because it's a brand new school year. Those feelings don't have to go away in October. Those feelings can stay. We don't have to subscribe to the belief that there's a summer you and a school you. So today, I encourage you to stop and think first, before you think about this upcoming year and all the goals that you have for your students, how do you want to feel? Do you want to continue to feel rested? Do you want to continue to feel happy? Do you want to continue to feel calm? You can do that, but it's going to start with you deciding what are some words that you can identify that you want to feel this school year? That's the beginning. We're not going to think about the things we want to do. How do you want to feel? Step 2 here is to think about now what makes you feel that way. If you want to feel energized, what have you done this summer that has made you feel energized? If you have felt calm and rested, what have you done this summer that has made you feel those feelings? If you want to feel excited and happy, what has made you feel that way this summer? And what can you do on day 1, or let's say day 0, the day before? What can we do to make sure that we are continually doing those things throughout the school year? And I know at first your brain is going to tell you, we can't do that. We've been teaching for 16 plus years. We've never been able to feel these feelings during the school year. Well, that's the old you, because this year you're going to focus on how you want to feel, and you are now going to continue to put the things front and center that will make you feel that way. And those things that you've done outside of school this summer, you can bring into your classroom. What is it that you can do in your classroom to help you feel those things during the day as well? And the third thing that I want to teach you today is you're going to have to start to set some boundaries around protecting your feelings and protecting the things that matter the most to you that help you to achieve those feelings. You're going to have to say no. And although this is going to be a topic for another episode, understanding that you have to say no to some things so that you can say yes to the things that matter most to you is the number one step that is going to help you to set boundaries and to protect yourself from becoming overwhelmed and becoming overworked. I know it's hard to say no when you want to say yes because you're worried about what other people might think, but you have to take care of you. And this is hard, radical self-care that I believe in and that I talk about all the time here on the Burned In Teacher podcast. It's called opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is basically the fact that when you say yes to something, you are essentially saying no to something else. And vice versa. When you say no to one thing, you are saying yes to other things. And when we look at decisions that we have the choice to say yes or no to, and we stop and we think, I'm using my hand gestures that I use with my students. When we stop and we think about how we want to feel first. How does this make me feel? Someone just asked me if I could lead the robotics team. How does that make me feel? If my words at the things that I want to feel are excited and happy and energized, did my body react in a way that was happy, excited, and energized? If not, your answer should probably be no. However, if someone asks you if you want to be part of the school activities planning committee, and you're like, yeah, I could get behind that. Automatically, if you start to get excited about that, and that's how you want to feel, then it should be a yes for you. So to review, here are the 3 things that I taught you today that I want you to focus on so that you don't lose yourself inside of your classroom and your school this year. And you can continue to feel like summer you all school year. Number 1, think about how you want to feel this year. Think about how you felt this summer, and I want you to carry that into the school year. That's number 1. Number 2 is I want you to remember what makes you feel this way. What did you do this past summer that made you feel the feelings that you want to feel all year long? And make time and in your schedule to get those things done every single week. Okay? And number 3, the third thing is that remember, in order to say yes to the things that bring you joy, that make you feel rested, that make you feel calm, that make you feel happy and excited, you're going to have to say no to things, and vice versa. You are going to have to say no to when you're asked to do things that you really don't want to do, and that you do have the choice of whether or not your answer is yes or no. Now, I told you at the beginning of this video that I was going to share with you 4 steps to help you to dream even bigger. Now that you know that it is possible to start your school year as an empowered teacher that knows how they want to feel, that knows how they want to spend their time, and knows what they need to say yes and no to. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Hey there, I wanted to take a quick break from this episode to let you know that Burned In Teacher is now on Teachers Pay Teachers. It's been my dream to bring you my step-by-step action plan in small pieces that you feel are best for you. So whether you're burned and over it and need to start to work on building your positive self-talk, or if you're burned and unbalanced and need to create a time allowance, a time budget, and to prioritize the most important things. Or maybe you're burned and bored and you want to set some long-term goals in a way that actually help you to reach them, plus so much more. Hop on over to teacherspayteachers.com and look for Burned In Teacher. When you land on my page, give me a follow so you will never miss the newest products and resources that are constantly being uploaded each month. So whether you're new to the Burned In Teacher process, have read Hacking Teacher Burnout, or you're just curious about what it could look like to take one small step in a different direction when it comes to you and your burnout, check out TPT, search for Burned In Teacher, and I know you'll find a resource that is perfect for you and your needs. Now, back to the episode. Now you're ready to set some long-term goals. We don't want to just feel these things in the short term. And the fact is that one reason that we become dissatisfied in our work and in our daily lives is because although our hair is always growing and our nails are always growing, and did you know our noses and our ears never stop growing either? Okay. We look at those things and we watch our kids grow, but our soul and our mind is also growing. And in order to continue to feel these feelings that we want to feel, we have to imagine what we're going to do in the long term to make those feelings stick around. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do when you're dreaming big and you're dreaming beyond your goals that you have for your students this school year, I want you to do what's called a big dreams brain dump. I want you to dream big about what you're going to do next summer. What are you going to do on winter break? What are some things that you want to accomplish, to achieve, or to experience in the future? And then you're going to identify what you want to accomplish within this year and 3 years. Okay. So we're really thinking long-term here. This is going to help us to avoid the hamster wheel that we all feel like we're on coming around October, November, especially the winter doldrums, the dark months. I know I live here in Northeast Indiana, and having seasonal affective disorder is a real thing. This is what's going to keep us focusing forward. So you are going to think about, okay, these are the things I want to do in the future. What am I going to do within a year? What am I going to do within 2? How about 3? And then you're going to write out those goals in SMART form. And I want you to plan the first step. So number 1, do a big dreams brain dump. Number 2, I want you to identify what you want to accomplish personally and professionally within the next 1 to 3 years, and then write out some SMART goals. All right. Make them SMART. And if you want to learn more about what SMART goals are, I have a video here about all of those things and what SMART goals mean. And lastly, I want you to plan your first step. I believe that we have to break goals down into smaller action steps and then down into even smaller tasks. And if you want to learn more about what that looks like, I have a video here all about how you can break down big goals into smaller actionable steps and tasks. And now you know how you can set goals for yourself this year so you don't lose yourself inside of your classroom and your school this year. And if you need any more help and want to learn more about what you can do to become a burned in teacher, I'll link in the description below a few different ways that you can do that. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave any questions in the comments below. I'm always willing to help you guys out. And anyone out there watching or listening, please follow me on Instagram at Burned In Teacher. Send me a DM and say hi and ask any questions that you have about this episode. I love hearing from you guys. If you enjoyed this episode and you're watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming episodes on the Burned In Teacher podcast. And if you're listening on any other podcast platform, please consider hopping over to Apple Podcasts and leaving a rating and review. Either of these actions help struggling teachers to find the support that they need. And Lord knows we need a lot of it. All right, everyone, I'll see you next week. And until then, take a deep breath because you just took another step to becoming a burned in teacher. Burn on. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. To keep this conversation going, connect with me on Instagram at Burned In Teacher. I'm always ready and willing to have a conversation with you about your burnout and ways I can help you to move through it. If you're looking for support in growing through your burnout in ways you never thought possible, check out my online course, Burned In Teacher University, at burnedinteacher.com/course. I'll see you in the next episode. Burn on.